Hello, welcome to Elixir Pro, and today you're gonna learn basic things about mints. But after learning this, running any framework such as Ecto, Phoenix, LiveView, everything's gonna be much more simpler for you. I hope you enjoyed this class. Plus, do not forget to click on the link below because I prepared a free class for you to learn Elixir faster with Phoenix and LiveView. Bye bye. In this class, you're gonna learn one of the most important things related to Elixir. Because if you learn this, learning about frameworks, learning about behaviors between Elixir and other libraries is going to be much more straightforward. Plus, you're going to learn how to use that on our application. So let's go ahead and start our application. And one of the things that we need to talk is that we have our application, and it seems that the code is quite complex, but we have a good reason for it. One of them is because we need to start not only creating application. What we are doing here, it's fine, but it seems to be complex because I would like to explain to you the difference between implementation, which is something that we did, and the servers. And what we're going to do now is that let's just create a folder called accounts, because we're going to give some context to our application. And the context that we are talking about is account, where we can create account, transfer, send money to another account, withdrawals. And right here, because we have it, we're going to change this to our context. So when you create folders, it's a good practice. Most of context that you are creating, give the name of the folder and then the module. Right here too, you're gonna see that our test will blow up, and it seems that everything now is crap. And we are using the account right here, so we can say accounts using the alias and user. It's almost there. One of the things that we'll have to do is the same for our test. So we're going to create a folder accounts and then move our tests to the same place that we have right here. And now let's just change it to accounts and then create an alias for it. And just one more thing here, same one. And then let's create the alias 2. And on our accounts, we are using the user for our dependencies. And now everything is fine. So this is our first step. But we need to use OTP because this is not a standard application. A standard application, what we usually do is we have a lot of things handled with that, and I will explain to you why. But first, we did our first step, which is to refactor our code, moving the folders, which is fine. As you could see, we didn't make a lot of change, just moving forwards to other folders. And the most important is that right here, when you start the application using terminal, I explained to you that Mix will handle with creating, updating, and install dependencies on your project and also managing it. But the most important is to understand how it works. As you can see, we have the Mix project, and when you say Mix project, you can check the documentations too. You will have a lot of explanation on how it works. So it explains when you use the project, and when you see the dependencies here, as you can see, we can use to install the dependencies. I think that I explained that for you. And one of the things that we need to understand is the application. So as you can see, it recommends us to run the command mix help compile app. And when you do it, it explains how you can create your app. And one of the things that you need to understand is we have a lot of functions here, and one of them is the application that we are going to use. I don't know if it's on a mixed project, basically. So we understand a couple of things. And right here, we have the mixed project. And another thing that we need to understand is the application. And when you understand it, you will see that it will recommend us to on the tooling right here. I think it's the beginning. There you go. The most important related here, so it's mentioning that by default the environment of an application is an empty list in a mixed project, mixed file. Now in your app you can read this environment by using functions, okay? But right here, how we start is one of the things that we need to be aware, because right here we need to, when we need to start an application, it means that we need to use on our application the mod, because we have the application function, and as you can see we have some explanation how we can use that. It's saying that we have our .app that contains that defines our application. So you saw that right here when we have our bank. I think it's the mix compile dot, where is that? Right here we have our modules and we have our applications. And to start a new application, it means that we need to come over here and say mod, and following the pattern to add our mod. So it's saying like seems to be like a module and params. I'm gonna say just like pumpkin to show you something. Right here, I'm gonna stop everything and let's just start the application again. It's complaining because the module does not exist and we don't have the function called start, and we have the params here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start creating our application. So we're gonna create our module. We're gonna say application.ex. By default, we gave it a name bank. And right here, it's saying that we need the function called start, where we have the types, and also we have like a list of related to the arguments. We're not going to use them, but let's just see what we have here. And probably this is not gonna work, and then we will understand how and why. So as you can see, we have the type, so we can just ignore for this moment. And the arguments, we're not gonna use that. So it's just like information if you need to use them, which is fine. And if we come over to our bank now, as you can see, we have the modules again, and we have the kernel, so it should be updated. It didn't update because we're not using it. And then what we're gonna do here, you need to understand a little bit more about the process. I will recommend you to watch one class here. Plus, we need to use application to start it. let's see how it goes now. Let's just say something like here, and then just one more time, and it's saying that it's a bad value, and we have our application. And right here, let's see if open, if it was updated. It still does not, it didn't update. Oh, there you go, we got our mod here, and we got the information. Let's just get rid of this because we're not going to use that, and let's just check what's going to happen now. And then if we come over here, it's a default value is a empty list. And now, because we already have it, now we can understand a little bit more about how Elixir works. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to give you a link for a extra video to understand how process work. But basically, it suggested a couple of things, so let's just ignore it. And the supervisor start link will be the children, and the pattern will be strategy 141. And most important, io.inspect, because I want to show you something. Supervisor start link. So, the children, we're not going to have children for now. I think this is enough. And now our application will work, and then we have the process here. As I mentioned, you have a video to watch here to understand. Then let's just open the observer.start, because I would like to share with you more information about the process. And right here, we have our applications, and then we have the process. And if you run the self, we have the 217. If you go to process, we have our process ID 216. This is a supervisor. Supervisor will start when you start the application. So let's just order it. And then we have the 216 right here, which is our Elixir supervisor. And then we have the 2170, which is our IX evaluator. So if you go to our application, we have the application right here. And as you can see, we have the 2116, which is managed for other process. Then as you can see, we have supervisor tree right here. So we were talking about this guy. And as you can see, we have who is monitoring, the group leader, a bit more information, which is fine. Then we have the state. Plus on our state for the process 2116, which is this one, we have the state, which is just information about the terms and some relations. You understand a little bit more on the next class, but the most important why I showed that for you is because we're gonna learn a little bit more about process. And the most important, I'm gonna open an application for you. So this was just a refactor. Let's just open a standard live view application to understand how it really works. So I'm gonna close all of them, and as you can see, by default we're not gonna understand how the config works, but today we understand that we have the extra application, which is this one. You go over here to application, we have some of the process that we need to start. Remember when I showed you the mix? Let's just pay attention on something. So we're gonna have the supervisor tree right here, and if you go to the endpoint, we are using the Phoenix endpoint right here. But if you check our library, Phoenix, it starts with the mix.exs, and we have the extra application. We have the application, and it will start with Phoenix. by default we have the start right here, as you can see. And if you just say like R, and instead of using the, I'm gonna try using the io.inspect, but I think logger will be better. Debug, and the message will be like the Phoenix started with R, and then just return DR, which is the default. Now when you run mixsteps.compile, we are going to recompile our Phoenix, sorry. And when we compile the Phoenix, we're gonna see that when we start the app, just before starting, I'm gonna say io.inspect right here too. We are compiling the app to our app. Bang, because okay. We just come over to our Phoenix again. All right. How to inspect this? I want to see the process. Try R2. Oh, this is not gonna work. Mixsteps.compile. Just compile the Phoenix 2 and then run. As you can see, Phoenix started on the process 36.5 in our applications 4.8.1. So now, because we already have this information, if you come over to observer.start, the most important thing is that if we go to our application, we have a lot of them. The most important is the Tailwind course. And let's search for the process 4.8.1, which is this one. And if we search for the endpoint right here, is this one. And probably this one, we have a parent. Let me just check it. We have the parent here. We have our supervisor, and it's working. But if we go to Phoenix, we have the process 3.65, which is our Phoenix started. And as you can see, this is the 3.65, where we have the pool of supervisors and created a relationship between the Tailwind course. Because the Phoenix application now, we have a connection. And if you check here, it's 15.5.1. And probably at the end of the day, right here, we are gonna have a relationship with the 3.65. So you need to check this a little bit more to get that information. But the most important is that we have this speed, which is the parent. If we check in our state, the parent here is this guy here. And if we started checking the parents, in some way we're gonna be on our Phoenix application, because at the end, as you could see, we just started this process. I'm just telling you a little bit more information because to understand what is behind your application. Plus, if you want to learn more about Elixir, I have an Elixir course teaching from the basic into the deploy Phoenix application with live view using Kubernetes. And everything that you are seeing here is just what is behind Elixir to help you to build high quality application and good implementations. I hope you enjoyed this class. Bye bye.